those structures over hundreds of years basically melt away back into the soil. But some of their structures, as you've seen, were big, they were massive, they were made out of caliche, which is brick, basically. It's clay, but it hardens into a brick-like substance. Some of their structures were created out of stones, as you saw, and those are still standing. The caliche are still standing. But these were very ingenious people. They turned this desert into very productive farmland, and they were not hunters and gatherers. They were a city-dwelling and small town-dwelling civilization. As I said earlier, Jeff, and I think it's very interesting, their primary city, the name of it translates to Snake Town. And I think that's very interesting.
Yeah, it all boils down to the serpent, Same thing, Quetzalcoatl, Mexico, and the pyramid with the serpent god there.
Here's another thing that's interesting about these people. Their language. And even the language spoken today by the Pima, who say that they are descendants of the Hohokam, and maybe they are. That's not absolutely established, but maybe they are. Their language is a dialect of Uto-Aztec.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, let's not forget the Aztecs, Kevin. I mean, the Hohokam and the Mayans were here in Phoenix. I mean, look at the Mexican population now. So clearly the Mayans in Mexico had a lot of influence here with the Hohokam. I find Mayan art all over the rocks here on the mountains.
Well, and of course the Aztec civilization comes after the Mayan, but in the pictures that I showed, you can see these windows that are T-shaped.
Oh, right, yeah.
And those T-shaped windows, let me see if I can, for those who are watching our TV channel, you can see T-shaped windows. They're not rectangular, and they're kind of T-shaped.
That's right.
Now, that is something that you find in the Aztec culture.
That's correct.
Now, the importance of that would be this. We get told by standard establishment archaeology that, and paleontology, that the first Native Americans came across a land bridge that no longer exists across what is, we call it the Bering Strait. And they would have first arrived in the very northern extremes, Alaska, northern Canada, that area. And then they began to migrate down into the rest of what is today Canada and the United States, and eventually migrate down into Mexico and continue to migrate further and down into Central America and then South America. That is the progression that we are given by standard archaeology today. However, the most advanced civilizations among all the peoples in the Americas, the most advanced civilizations obviously are the oldest ones. They had longer to advance. And they're in South America. They're not in North America, they're in South America. And here we have the Hohokam speaking a dialect of Uto-Aztec. It would seem to me to be reasonable, based upon the linguistics, that they migrated from the south up into this area, not the other way around. It would seem that they came from either Central or South America and up into this area. since they are using the language of the Aztecs, or a dialect of it. And why would that be important? Well, because the Aztec, the Maya, the Inca, all of those people in their art that they left behind, and in artifacts that have been found in their ruins and ruins of their civilization, there is indication that they did have contact, that they were trading with these other nations that are on the other side of the world. In Egypt, they found mummies that had traces of cocaine. Well, where does cocaine come from? South America. You follow what I'm saying? In Egypt,
that's correct. You know, we can trace that criteria to the pottery shards also, because some of these pottery shards, the dirt doesn't match the existing landscape here in the valley here, and some of these potteries, some of these pots that they would trade here on South Mountain would come from, you know, clear across on the other side of the United States. So this was a hot spot. Phoenix was a major hot spot for not only trading, but for spiritual belief and sacrifice. So this was a mountain of mercy, Mount Sepoa. That's what they used to call South Mountain, Mountain of Mercy. And they would take their prisoners here, and they would literally sacrifice them for the gods, for, in my opinion, these Phoenix Lights. So.
All right, now, Jeff, human sacrifice is something that lots and lots of people really didn't want to believe was going on with the Mayan, the Inca, the Aztec, and yet now we know for sure it was.
That's right.
We know for sure it was. And so if this group that we call the Hohokam migrated up from the Aztec areas, if that's where they came from, it would seem reasonable that they would have brought that religion with them, and that includes human sacrifice. Have you found any evidence, anything at all, that indicates that human sacrifice was taking place out here on South Mountain? And we'll let you answer that when we come back from this break. We'll be back. Because you believe that the possibility exists, because you think it's possible that there is life on other planets, some type of life on other planets, and then they come along with, oh, so you believe in little green men. That's just idiocy. I mean, you know, that kind of, when I hear that, I truly, folks, have to exercise extreme restraint, because I'd like to just launch this idiot. Welcome back to the Kevin Smith Show. We are on final approach. We have time for one, maybe two more calls at 623-444-5889 or toll free 888-223-4599. We're talking with Jeff